There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb, and welcome to Blind Math. So this is the way the module looks. It's got a bright blue background, it's got a number at the top, it's got a series of 15 different buttons, each of them are going to be performing a different operation, and we have a submit and a release and a reset button. So in this case, what we're going to be trying to do is we're going to be trying to figure out what each of these buttons actually does to the operator, to the number at the top here. This is why this is called blind math, because you don't exactly know what each of these buttons are actually going to do. It could be a wide variety of different things, as you can see, which can go from negative, it can go from positive, it can be adding, addition, multiplication, and division. It can be these four possible operators. So here's a list of all the possible operators that can appear that the blind buttons can have. Add a number from 1 to 100, subtract a number from 1 to 100, multiply a number from the range of -5 to 5, excluding 0 and 1, and divide a number from 5 to -5, removing all decimals, excluding 0 and 1. So in this case, it's going to be everything except those two numbers. In both cases of multiplication and division, there is going to be some sort of, it's either going to be 2 or greater, so 2 or greater or -2 or less, in this case, as you would think about it. But that is essentially what you're going to be limited to in each of these buttons, which is a wide range, keep in mind. So this is going to work kind of similar to Countdown in a way that you're going to have to determine a target number, and you're also going to be determining what each button does. Now the catch with this is that the reason why this is so difficult and it's not so easy as it looks, because each button corresponds to a math operation, which is determined. When pressing one of these operations, this applies to the number on display. Each button can only be pressed once. If we were to hit the reset button, it resets each of these buttons. You can press it again, press this exact same button again, so on and so forth. But it's only able to be used once for finding your target number. That's where this thing gets a little bit tricky. Now, this can be very nice, it can be very easy, it can be very evil though. So don't get the wrong idea that this is going to be a cakewalk. So determining the target number is actually quite simple, and that's actually what I'm going to start with first before we actually get into the buttons. So the target number consists of 4 concatenated parts, and each part is defined as follows. For the first part, it's the number of batteries. The second part is the number of indicators. The third part is the number of ports, and the fourth part is the last digit of the serial number. So in this case, the number of batteries is going to be 2. That's 1 digit. The number of indicators is going to be 2 as well. The number of ports is going to be a 4. And the last digit of the serial number is going to be a 7. So in this case, what we essentially did here is we took each of these bits of edgework and we just combined them all into one number, 2, 2, 4, 7. And that is going to be our target number. Now, we're very close to this, actually. We're really, really close. And this one actually should not be too hard, supposedly. So then now let's figure out what each of these buttons do. And if we ever happen to run into the case of 2, 2, 4, 7, all we simply need to do is we just simply need to submit the module at that point. So let's take a look. So that takes us to 4, 4, 5. That is a big number. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 9. It likely is either divide by 5 case or divide by 4. In this case, it is a divide by 5. It goes to 4, 4, 5. And in this case, if you happen to divide, it removes all decimals. So in this case, 4, 4, 5. There's no rounding involved in this. So it's a divide by 5 here, which I doubt we're really going to be using, but I'm going to mark it down anyways. Because we want to kind of stay in this area. We're looking for probably additions and subtractions. So let's reset. 7, 4, 3, another division case, 2, 2, 2, 9, divided by 4, 3, it's divisible by 3, so divide by 3. Okay. Minus 4, 4, 8, 5. So this is like a multiplication by -2. In this case, it is. So multiply by -2. Okay. Let's continue. 2196. Okay, so this is a subtraction problem. So 2196 is going to be a minus 33 from this. So minus 33. In this case, gives us that. Now, next up, we have 2193. So in this case, I believe that's just going to be minus 36. A little bit less. Minus 2193. Yes, it is. Minus 36. Okay. Now onto the second row. Whoa. Okay. So this is going to be probably a multiplied by -5. It is indeed multiplied by -5. Most of them are pretty easy to spot what the actual multiplications are. They're kind of just like you can kind of just figure out, like, if you were to multiply the 2 and 5 together on the thousandths digit, you can kind of figure that out. Next up, we have subtracting 8. This one I can do in my head. So subtracting 8. Alrighty. So subtract 8. This appears to be a multiply by -1. You can indeed do that. It's not limited to it's not, you can do -1 here. So in this case, multiply by -1. But we probably won't be using that because we need a positive number. Wait, I forgot to go over. Note that if the serial number contains only consonants, then the target number is negative. It is indeed only consonants, so therefore, our answer is not 2247, it's negative 2247. And now subtractions are actually going to be a huge hand for us. This -1 is going to be a huge hand for us. That's going to be very, very good. Okay. Anyways, let's continue on. Apologies for not covering that sooner. That's a very important note that I need to make sure I do cover. And let's continue on. So this appears to be an addition problem. This appears to be addition. So 229 and 2278. I believe it's 49? Yes, 49. So we're going to be adding 49. Okay, perfect. Okay, so from this position, we're going to 64. 2264 minus that. We're adding 35 to this. Add 35. Let's take a look at the next one here. 2307. That's a big boy. So 2307 minus that. So it's going to be adding 78. Now, obviously, it's not necessary to do all of these. You can kind of you can actually solo this if you wanted to, and just go all over the place if you feel so inclined. 2162. Okay. Minus 2162. But you're totally able to do whatever you want. So it's minus 67. Minus 67 might actually be very helpful for us. I might as well start probably trying to figure out what the solution is here, because I probably can figure this out really quickly here. 49. Oh, and there we go. So what I did here was I did -1. I subtracted 67. And then I added 49. And just like that, we have our answer. And that's all there is to it. Really, you do not need all of these numbers in order to determine what your answer is. I figured that, hey, that -67 is that minus 67 is going to be pretty good for us. And you can and that's the nice thing about this, is that you can just kind of go all over the place without any sort of repercussions whatsoever. Just make sure you don't hit the submit button until you're absolutely sure that you have your answer. So, we can go over one more example. I was not expecting that to get that quickly. But that's the fun part of about this mod, is that there's a lot of freedom that you can do, because you can obviously reset this at any time that you want to. It's just determining the target number might require a bit of expert help. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. So let's take a look at one more example. That was a fairly easy one to actually get. And then we will be on our merry way. But just remember that the serial number containing only consonants is a very important thing, because that does completely mess with it. It is not going to be the case, so we're going to be having a positive number this time around. So the number of batteries in this case is going to be a 5, okay? The number of indicators is going to be 0. The number of ports is going to be 2. And the last digit of the serial number is going to be a 2, okay? So it's going to be 5022, and this is going to be positive. So now we're on the negative spectrum of this whole thing, so we have to be very careful with this. So -1244. Okay, so this is likely a multiply by, or divide by positive 5? Or divide by -5, rather? Yes, divide by -5, because a negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. So in this case, divide by -5, which could be helpful for us. Definitely could. Okay, by 311, this could be divided by 4, just a positive 4. Divide by 4 is indeed the correct answer here. I imagine we don't want to use too much division. This is a divide by -2, I would imagine. Divide by -2. Indeed it is. That's going to be helpful for us. Divide by -2. Next up, we have some sort of subtraction. In this case, that's going to be minus 26. Yes, minus 26. Okay. Add 3. Adding math 37. Yes, 37. Adding 4. adding something really big here. I believe 46. Yes. Okay. Ooh, here we go. Here's some big multiplication for you. All right, perfect. And this actually could be a good starting point for us because what this does for us is this is going to be multiplying this by -4 times you by -4. Yes. Now, what we could potentially be looking at here is we could potentially just be adding a bunch of, we could add 46 here, for example. We could add 46 and solve the module. Just like that, there you go. It's fairly simple, as you can clearly see. I didn't even have to get all the way through all the buttons. Kind of start thinking about how the solution works, especially when you're getting the buttons, but obviously not all of them is necessary. And it totally could be a diffuser solo. I'd probably advise you to actually do it on the diffuser end, because you can kind of just figure it out on your own, and just kind of go willy-nilly with it, because there's no problems with it whatsoever. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.